Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 4, Episode 3, The Hippocratic Oath. Now, this is an interesting episode. This is one where I actually prefer the subplot more than the main plot, so I'll go ahead and start with that. It's kind of funny and important because this episode was directed by Rene Auberjonois, and the whole subplot is about Worf and Odo. So, this is the third episode of the fourth season, and what I love about Deep Space Nine, and that I've talked about over and over again, is how Deep Space Nine tells stories in arcs. It's not just a one-and-done type thing. You really have to pay attention over the course. And this episode is one of those episodes where we've now seen Worf join the crew of Deep Space Nine, and he was security chief for like 7 years on the Enterprise, and now he's the strategics commander of ops, and he is no longer in security. But because he did it for so long, that's his go-to. That's where he's comfortable, and he sees how Odo does things, and he doesn't like it. So he keeps trying to impose on Odo, like, you should do this and you should do that. And Odo's like, dude, you need to back off. Like, I know what I'm doing, and I've been doing this for a lot longer. Like, you go do your thing and stop telling me how to do mine. And even Sisko gets involved and is like, Worf, you are not in charge of security now. This is not the Enterprise. This is Deep Space Nine, and you need to worry about the tasks that I gave you. And so it's a really interesting storyline as they go back and forth. And as it's a little bit predictable, but Worf tries to intervene on a deal where Quark is doing some smuggling, and Worf's like, I told you that this is like gonna happen and this is all your fault. And Odo appears and is like, congratulations, you just destroyed my entire undercover mission. And that's kind of the awakening moment for Worf, where he's like, oh shit, you're right, like, I'm just gonna go do my thing. But it's a really important episode in that story where we see Worf and Odo kind of come to terms together, where it's like Worf is not in control of something that he's used to being in control of. So I thought it was a very important episode for that point of view. The main plot of this was kind of a dark story. It was kind of interesting, where we see Dr. Bashir and Chief O'Brien, and they're on a runabout, and it's kind of a funny storyline where O'Brien's talking about how Keiko just doesn't understand what he wants to do and how he does things, and why can't she be more like a man? And it's just kind of this funny moment where he's like, shut up, Dr. Bashir, or Julian. And it's just kind of funny. I mean, that's kind of why I've always kind of gone towards more of men, is because it's easier to relate to. But whatever. And so they crash on a planet, and there's Jem'Hadar everywhere. And one of them, the lead, talks to Bashir about the Ketracol White and how they've been addicted to it, which I'm pretty sure this is the first time they've mentioned the name of Ketracol White. They've talked about the enzyme and the protein that they're addicted to, but this is the first time they've named it. And so Julian wants to come up with a cure, a way for them to not be addicted to it. And O'Brien, like, to be completely honest, we've seen O'Brien kind of have racist tendencies over the course of not just this series, but even the Next Generation, where he doesn't like Klingons and he doesn't like Cardassians. And now at this point, he doesn't like Jem'Hadar. And he's just like, let them die. Like, they're stranded on this planet. They only have enough Ketracol White to last for 5 days. After that, they'll go through withdrawals and they'll die, and we'll be done with them. And Dr. Bashir, who has taken the Hippocratic Oath about try to save anybody, is like, no. And throughout the course of the episode, you watch O'Brien try to escape and Julian try to come up with a solution. And at the end, it finally gets to the point where O'Brien destroys Julian's cure, and they run away to safety. And it's a heartbreaking episode where you see them talking on their way back to the station, and you start questioning whether or not, like, their friendship is over at this point. Like, can they ever recover from this break in their friendship? So it'll be interesting to see how this story arc continues to play out. I liked it, but I kind of like the Odo Worf story more. Because, I mean, both sides, the subplot and the main plot usually have something in common, and both of these are two characters with differing opinions and how to overcome it. And I thought this episode did a great job with that. I really enjoyed it. And again, like, kudos to Rene Auberjonois for directing it. Again, I'll say it. I wish he would continue directing things further. Like, it'd be great to see him start directing Discovery or Orville or something like that. So for those who have seen this one, did this episode stand out to you for those reasons? What do you guys think about seeing Worf on the station clashing with Odo? And what do you think about the O'Brien Dr. Bashir friendship, like coming together and breaking apart? Go ahead, let me know. Thank you guys for everything. I will see you guys next time for Indiscretion.